That down, let's move on to this. Now, Fantastic Four held what is kind of unusual for Disney to do and for Marvel to do, but they held what are qualified and called public test screenings for Fantastic Four. Now, a couple of the stories that came out of that was, of course, the post-credit scene they had, which I believe is fake. Now, I think the story is true, but I don't think that's actually going to be in the movie when it comes out in theaters. I think it's a misdirect by Marvel, but that's not the thing to talk about here. The other thing we mentioned when we talked about it was that our friend Jeff Schneider talked to one person, and we emphasized when we talked about this is just one single person. But Jeff said the one person he talked to, who we have no idea if this person has the worst taste in movies in the world or the best taste in movies. We have no idea. It was a single person. And he said that person thought it was okay. Right? Now, there had been a story going around that the people thought those public test screenings were mid. There was even this story being highlighted in a bunch of trades saying somebody actually yelled out in the screening, mid, during the screening.
I'm so sure.
Well, that has now been debunked by the actual person who was there at it. And MovieWeb is quoting this person. This is what the person who was actually at the screening had to say. I've been seeing a lot of reporting on anecdotes and facts that I recognized as my own. Like, I'm the person this came from. I wanted to debunk some misinterpretations I've heard. No one screamed mid in the audience. So that story, completely fake. Nobody screamed mid in the audience. There was a guy next to me sighing and flapping his hands around. When the movie was over, I asked him his opinion and he said it was mid. But that got blown up into this thing. Somebody yelled out mid during the thing. Anyway, he goes on to say, I told this story on Discord right after I left. Certain insiders have blown this story out of proportion, saying that some lunatic screamed mid in the theater. This is 100% untrue. There was an employee asking around random people for their reactions, and I heard a lot of excellence, the highest rating on the survey. So this person who was the source of all these stories about people reacting mid to Fantastic Four, he's now coming out saying they took that way out of context. He said, I said that about one guy I talked with, but everybody that I heard doing the reporting into the employees in the theater, asking for the rating, the highest rating being excellence, he says, I heard a lot of excellence being the highest rating on that. And that's right from the guy who was actually there. Now, again, just like when we talked about how the one single person that Jeff Snyder talked to said they didn't like it, we said, guys, this is one person. When you look at a Rotten Tomatoes reader meeting, you're looking at 300 critics, whatever. This was one single person. I'm sure that's how they felt about it, but let's not read too much into it. It is just one person. Well, now this guy's saying, yeah, in his screening, it was just one person. And whether the guy he was sitting beside was the one Jeff Snyder talked to, I'm not sure. And he's saying, no, this whole story going around, but somebody yelled out mid during the screening did not happen. And he's saying, as a matter of fact, when he was seeing the employee talking to people, they were giving it at the highest rating. Do I think we should read too much into that? Also, no. I mean, maybe he heard 15 people giving excellent, but maybe the next 15 people that he didn't see gave it the worst score. We don't know. But the ones he heard and what he thought, he's saying there was a lot of the top scores. A lot of them were excellent. So what does this tell us about Fantastic Four? Really nothing. I mean, this movie could be good, could be bad. I think the trailers so far have been pretty solid. I haven't been overwhelmed by the trailers for Fantastic Four, but I've liked them. They've been good. Did you hear about the report of the footage Kevin Feige just showed down at the Comic-Con in Mexico?
I did not.
Apparently they showed a scene, and it's all coming out from all the people who were there, where like they're in the Fantastic Four vehicle in a ship or something like that, running from Silver Surfer, and Sue Storm is in the midst. She's in labor in the ship. And like Reed then tells Ben they're being chased by Surfer, and Ben, he tells Ben to steer the ship into a black hole. Now, I don't know if that's something at the end or if that's something in the middle of the film or whatever, but it's like, oh my God, I want to see this clip. I don't know. I don't think they've put it out publicly yet, but I do definitely want to see this clip. So we'll see. But anyway, I'm glad to hear that this guy came out and kind of set the record straight on it. And it kind of, I think, resets the barometer. Again, I am more looking forward to Superman, but I am excited for Fantastic Four, and I like hearing this. Guys, we want to take a second and thank a sponsor of today's video, Ridge. Okay, let's talk about this. This is easily one of my favorite upgrades I've made all year. This right here is the Ridge wallet, and it is such an upgrade over my old bulky leather wallet. You know the one, it looked like a sandwich and it felt like you were sitting on a brick. Ridge is a sleek, modern wallet that holds up to 12 cards plus cash, and look at this slim design. It's made from premium materials like aluminum, titanium, and carbon fiber. Mine is absolutely beautiful, and I get compliments on it all the time. And here's a part of it that really gives me peace of mind. It's got RFID blocking technology. That means your info stays safe from digital pickpockets. Plus, every Ridge wallet comes with a lifetime warranty. This is literally the last wallet you'll ever need. And right now, just in time for Father's Day, Ridge is having a huge sale. Get up to 40% off your order at ridge.com/Campea. Just head to ridge.com/Campea to find the perfect gift for dad or yourself. When you check out, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Give dad the upgrade he deserves this year. Anyway, Rob, what do you think about the story?
Look, at this point, everybody says stuff like mid. I don't believe anything anybody says when it comes to superhero films or genre cinema in general, because I feel that too many people have already made a decision before they've even seen it now, and it's I think any reviewer should look at every movie from a fresh perspective. Like, don't prejudge something that you haven't seen.
Yeah.
I'm really getting tired of that. And then if
you see it, by the way, I say a lot, but if you see a trailer and you think the trailer looks like garbage,
of course,
say you think the trailer looks like garbage.
100%.
Like 100%. Yeah, that's fine.
So and I've learned, no matter how many reviews you read, no matter how many trailers you see, it doesn't change. The actual act of watching a movie, the whole movie in its entirety, is never really represented. You could have the greatest trailer in the world, but a trailer does not duplicate the experience of watching a film from beginning to end. Everything from how does the movie begin over the Marvel logo. You know, there's so many interesting things about watching movies that I love. So again, I think that when it comes to these kinds of movies, especially where Marvel is at, people, I feel that if people don't have the most transcendent movie-going experience of their lives, every Marvel movie's mid to them. And so can they get, which is weird because I understand that, because Infinity War and Endgame gave me two of the greatest movie-going experiences I ever had. I can understand that, but I don't expect every Marvel movie to do that. And so I tend to judge Marvel films like, I really liked the first Doctor Strange. I didn't think Doctor Strange was A-list. I thought it was like a solid B+.
Yeah, I really liked it.
I really liked it.
Yep.
I liked everything about it.
Not a top Marvel movie, but it was really good.
Yeah, and I could have watched a half an hour more of it. It seemed like it was a little fast, a little quick, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed everything about it. If I get a movie like that, then I'll enjoy everything about Fantastic Four, and it could be a B+ and I'll still like it.
My analogy to that is, everybody knows I'm a big ice cream guy. I overly love my ice cream. Like, overly love my ice cream. By the way, little personal note, just a side thing. This weekend, first time in 15 years that I have weighed in under 210 pounds.
Wow.
I'm at 208.
Congratulations. Does that mean more ice cream for you?
Well, I did have an entire carton of cookies and cream ice cream last night. But part of it was massively cutting back how much ice cream I eat. Anyway, that aside.
How big was the carton?
It was a pretty big tub. it was a pretty big one.
Wow.
Ann and I were watching Rogue One, and I was like, because I don't eat ice cream very much anymore, so I kind of overdo it when I have it. But like, I love ice cream, and if I have an ice cream that's a middle of the road ice cream, I still very much enjoy it. Yes. It isn't my favorite ice cream, but I think people misuse. There are a couple terms I think people misuse. Mediocre. Mediocre does not mean bad. It means it's the middle of the road. And if the middle of the road could be okay, I think people misuse the term mid and stuff like that. Anyway, that's just all to your point.
Yeah, I mean, and look, I want to love this movie. As a matter of fact, I go into most movies wanting to love them. You know, I feel bad when I don't. But, you know, I want to love this. I really do. And I really want to love Superman.
Oh, my hopes are so high for Superman. And it could end up being terrible. It could end up being bad, but I love everything I'm seeing so far. So then again, I thought Craven looked like it had potential.
Me too.
I really tried to warn you guys on that.
I know everybody tried to warn me, but I believed, and then I saw it. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The person who's actually kind of the source of that whole mid story going around, he's come out and clarifies, like, listen, guys, that was one person. Nobody yelled it out in the movie theater like it's being reported. And everybody that I saw turning in their renditions was the top score excellent. What does that mean? Maybe nothing. But at least it kind of counters what the old story was. And I'm glad to hear it. Anyway, whatever you guys think about all this, jump down to the comments section below and leave your thoughts there. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.